Mimighoul is here, and it is top tier in my hands. What does this deck do? Well, it's got a few tricks up its sleeve, one of them being a floodgate. The Mimighoul dungeon states that if they control a face-down monster, they cannot normal summon monsters. So ideally, we're going to use a card like the Mimighoul Room to summon a monster onto their field during their turn so they can't even flip it up. And then if, let's say, they're playing Barrel or they're playing Blue Eyes with Sage, they now cannot normal summon. And in addition to that, the Mimighoul Room could also non-target flip a monster on the field face down. We also have the Throne. The Throne could summon from the deck a Mimighoul Master and has the quick effect of non-target returning one card in the field back to the hand no matter where it is. And what you do with the Mimighoul Master while it's on the field is you use its effect of quick effect during the opponent's main phase, change a face down monster on the field to face up. So with the Mimighoul Room, you're going to summon onto their field a Mimighoul Dragon. And the Dragon states when flipped face up during the main phase, it's going to destroy all face up monsters you control, being their monsters because they control the Mimighoul Dragon, and then the Mimighoul Dragon goes back onto our side of the field. One of our main combo starters are going to be the Mimighoul Maker, where you choose two different of your flip monsters, then your opponent randomly is going to choose one of them to go to your hand, then summon onto the field any Mimighoul you want from your hand, and the other monster will be summoned onto their field face down. Also, another gimmick of the deck is that every Mimighoul monster has the effect of summoning themselves onto the field, being your opponent's field face down. So not only do you have the Mimighoul Dragon flipping up to destroy everything, you could then instead give them a Mimighoul Archfiend, which on flip can force your opponent to discard a card, and you also get to draw a card, which is why during your very first turn, if you could trigger monster effects on their turn by giving them the monster, you're going to be able to use a card like Triple Tactics Thrust. If your opponent activated a monster effect, it does not have to be a hand trap because again, you're giving them the monster, then flipping it up and doing it within one turn ideally. You now get to add from your deck to your hand, not into your back row. It can go right to your hand because they're going to have a monster on their field. Thus, you want to play a card like Triple Tactics Talent, look at their hand. You could also thrust search for a 1-for-1 if needed, or even search for your main combo starter being the Mimighoul Maker. Now, why am I not playing with Fiendsmith or Kashtira? I think that those cards definitely make the deck better, but I wanted to focus on the core part of Mimighoul being Mimighoul. If there was a good way to bridge those cards into Mimighoul play, sure, but my problem is that if you put Fiendsmith in the deck, Fiendsmith pretty much just takes over as your main win condition, and ideally I want to be winning with Mimighoul no matter how difficult that could be. Now, if you have a card like Kashtira Unicorn, it's cool because you summon it early and then you trigger the monster effect on their field, then you get to trigger your Unicorn. Again, I don't want the Kashtira cards to be taking over the win condition. This is all about Mimighoul. With that said, Hajime, what do we have here? We have a normal summon Dragon, which could get Imperm, but we could summon Slime to block it. They then max C in response. We still block the Imperm. We get Ashed. We have Dungeon, which could eat the Ash first, attempting to search our deck possibly. Nothing in the activation of Dungeon, thus they probably don't have max C, and they have no Ash either, so the Imperm is most likely. I'm going to grab an Archfiend here, and let's Slime block the Impermanence. You will not be Imperming me today. Let's see if he has a Veiler though. So Veiler's the one thing that he could have. No Veiler either. That is crazy. So we are going to use the Maker to summon onto their side of the field. Ideally an Archfiend. As we summon our Archfiend to flip it, then draw, they have to discard. We're going to grab a Fairy here because we want to summon the Archfiend. Sure. Archfiend to their field. Perfect. As the Fairy goes to our hand, we summon our Archfiend, we flip it up, and let's go. Let's go for the draw instead of flipping the Slime. So reveal to me what you are playing. Lappy, give us a draw. Thank you for the Dead Fool loss, which I may discard with the 1-for-1. Discard a card from your hand. And this is an example of how you can make your opponent rage quit right away. Well, oh, they have Big Welcome in the grave now. You may want to be Little Knight banishing that. So let's make a Throne. With the Throne, we're going to summon a Mimighoul Master from the deck, giving us the ability to flip a monster on their field face up during their turn, plus search our deck with the Mimighoul Master summon. This is not a good normal summon. Ideally, you want to summon it from the deck or from the graveyard. Let's trigger it on summon. We'll be searching for a follow-up play with Dragon. That is the way. We'll special summon the Fairy to our side of the field here. We're now going to be searching for the room. With the giant Mimighoul, put this in attack position at 3,300 attack with the field spell during their turn. On summon, trigger, throne is an open game state effect where this will be on summon. We have the room, which could block a normal summon. We now ideally want to Little Knight banish that big welcome. So we're going to be discarding someone for the deck, a draw and lock bird. Let's get rid of the giant Mimighoul, which has no form of disruption on it, but the Little Knight will now be an extra form of disruption. We'll banish it, end our turn, and we'll talk about the disruptions we have if they're slow to react. Get rid of that. Perfect. Set this. Now back to them. Let's go. So you have a Floodgate with the dungeon where they cannot normal summon a monster as long as they control a face-down monster. They can flip that face-down monster up, then they can normal summon, but I could use the room to summon another face-down monster, then they cannot normal summon. I could also flip a monster face down. I could also summon a dragon to their field and flip it up with Mimighoul Master, which would then destroy all face-up monsters they control. I could Little Knight chain banish. I could use the throne to chain, return a card they control back to the hand, and we have Nibiru. I think that pretty much covers everything we have. Tried my best to describe what I have before you made a play, and now you're just sitting here making no play. The Mimighoul dungeon, what's great about it is it's activatable every single turn, and it can add from the graveyard. Beansmith Engraver. What the engrave? Okay. I think we want to flip the Lurie face down. So tract, Lurie, summon, flip the Lurie down. Can't go into the Requiem play. Also, will not have a Light Fiendsmith to return back to the deck with Engraver. I also have the option to use Throne to just spin it back to the hand if I want to sit on the room. The Throne, I may want to be saving the Throne for the end phase to return a back row card back to the hand, since we are dealing with a back row deck here. Thus, I could also use the Maker to trigger their card to trigger my Little Knight to chain link banish their Lurie, actually. That is insane. You what, mate? So I will flip this, trigger that, chain Little Knight to banish the Lurie. Out freaking played. Holy Mimighoul. So we get to keep the room, we get to keep the throne, and we have an optimal disruption with Little Knight. That is wild. We're going to summon from our deck a dragon, which will be searching for another Mimighoul Maker. Choose to where you want to give me that slime. And we now have to think if we want to stop them from normal summoning by using Room. Room could flip a monster face down, or could stop him from normal summoning. He normal summons an Ariana. That could be annoying if he summons something else. I think I'm just going to go with the Room. Let's get Room in. Let's Floodgate him. No normal summon for you. Maybe he has a Lacrima Crimson Tear, an Ariana in the hand. He may have an Ash for the Room to negate the Room. And also the Mimighoul Master with a dragon, which we're going to have to summon from our hand here since we have all three out of the deck. It is flippable. Ooh, Ash negate. You do have your normal summon, mates. The Throne is going to non-target return a card in the field back to the hand. So if it is a Light Fiend, unless it's Crimson Tear, we're going to have to think about what to do here. Reinforcement of the army. Rhino Heart? What? That is a deck. What the heck? This is Labyrinth, Fiendsmith, and Tearlament, and a board breaker? Okay, we're gonna have to use Throne on the Kit Kalos or the Root Kalos. Kit Kalos will make it to the can't summon Root Kalos. Root Kalos negates Nibiru. We're gonna have to have a good Nibiru. The Throne, if he takes control of Master, can I still spin a card back? Target a Mimi Master, you control, to then return cards in the field up to the hand equal to the materials, which would be 1. He triple tactics talent looks at our hand to return back Nibiru, maybe. And we just have Throne as the Rhino sends, triggers, Kit Cal. And then we just get ready with the Throne to, on the resolution of the Kit Cal, we should just spin it back before it activates to Mill 5. We definitely do not want that to happen. The Mill 5 would inevitably result in an Engraver being able to return back a Light Fiend and resummon from the grave. Probably Tearlament Grief is what he's looking at, what he may be wanting, which can summon a tier from the deck, trigger a play from there. Searching Tract, you already used Tract. Reinforcement, you already used it. Card Destruction? Wow. Wow. That could YOLO trigger the Rhino, but he's not going to go for that YOLO. Sure. Triggered Kick Cow. On the resolution of Kick Cow, we're going to spin the Kick Cow. Turn back. So let's read the Kick Cow and explain why we want to do that play. Kick Cowlos says, target a monster you control, special summon a tier from your hand or grave, which means we do not know if they have a tier in the hand to get the Kick Cow and grave to then mill 5. But I could just chain to Kick Cow activating to attempt to do that. They would for free get a special summon. Is the special summon that big of a deal? They get to special, we would let them special, well now we know for sure they have a way to summon it. And we are going to just spin back right now. Equip, that's the quick effect of tier cash, meaning that tells me you have a cash tier or tier limit in the hand to banish to even summon that, because there's none in the graveyard here. So we know there's 2 tier cards plus a card destruction in the hand. Oh boy, get the Kick Cow out, card destruction, mill 2. It was Call by the Grave, not another tier limit. Call by the Grave is what was making it activatable. He randomly milled 2, did not mill into a Light Fiend to summon the Engraver. Holy moly, let's freaking go. Yes, Mimighoul. I got a duel. Oh, I got a duel. With Fualos or Maxi, I check my hand to see if I'm happy with it. If I'm not happy with it, I hold the Fualos or Maxi to make sure I chain it to something that will ensure I draw it into a better hand. So am I happy with this? Room, Thrust, these are not so good for my first turn. Normal Archfiend to just flip the opposing Archfiend to come to our side of the field. That will give us a draw. They'll discard. I could Xyz. So these 2 cards are actually a good play, and I will just drop the Fualos and be fine with them completely ending their turn. Golem, Millennium cards will not be resulting in a draw. That is fine. You want to get a bunch of big meats on the field, not a problem to me. Archfiend will flip, we'll draw a card, they'll discard, we'll Xyz into Throne, we'll summon Mimighoul Master. Master will be searching for probably the Pink Girl. Pink Girl, special summon onto the field, maybe Little Knight it up. We have lost up our normal summon. If we make her, we could try to YOLO the... Ooh, giving us some draws. Thank you very much. Now an Ash for a potential zombie vampire. Or I may just hold on to this Ash. If you want to keep on special summoning, be my guest. Sulfaneer, summon, pop itself, summon from the deck, Tristaros. I don't think I actually care about that. The Tristaros will be summoning from the deck during our turn. We could Ash that effect itself if we want to. So instead of stopping them from summoning, which results in a draw, we could just stop the effect with Ash on the next turn. Slime, when flipped, could summon a monster onto our side of the field, which could be better than the Archfiend drawing a card. But then we lose the Slime ability to summon onto our side of the field. I think that this may be a case for a Zeus. We could Zeus up their field. Special the Slime, normal the Archfiend. Let's of course get a draw and discard first. Draw and discard with the Archfiend, and then I'll follow up with special summoning the Slime, and we'll go from there. Or I could summon Slime on their field, normal Archfiend. The problem is if that gets disrupted, we're then stuck with an Archfiend on our field and we cannot special summon alongside it, where the Slime in hand is the safer play, through disruption that is. You really want to keep on summoning? Go ahead. We're gonna Zeus the entire freaking field, mate. Let's do it. We got Fucho. We also have the assembled Nightingale. Nightingale is going to not be good if they potentially have an impermanence, even though it has the effect to make itself untargetable. If they impermit and you chain to be untargetable, you already got targeted, and then you also can't attack into a monster. So that is definitely an issue. The Fucho, unaffected by monster, other effects, that is, all effects, but ideally they have a monster on the field and defense to swing into, which we could force out with the Mimighoul. We could just summon a monster into defense, and then normal Archfiend, not activates effect, special Slime, go into our Xyz from there, because we also want to be playing around the cluster. Cluster's gonna be a problem if we actually activate the effect of Fucho. We do not want that to actually happen. So this is where the Nightingale actually becomes better, because the Nightingale not only becomes untargetable, attack number of times, detach, cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that is another bonus of the effect. Now, thankfully, they did summon a monster into defense, so we don't have to summon one ourselves. I can, in fact, try to go for the draw discard play, forcing him to discard a card from the hand. He has a spell and trap card negate. He could at least pop one card on the field. So our goal is going to be to Zeus this up. So the safest way to Zeus, we're going to summon the Archfiend onto their side of the field. And then if they negate our Archfiend, normal summon, we can follow up with a Slime. And then from there, ideally, he does not try to pop our monsters before we Xyz, which he likely will not do so. So this is it. Let's go. On, summon, flip, discard the card from the hand, or at least force out the hand trap. Droplet. So this is exactly what we anticipated. This is what we feared. Setting our own card here, that's fine. We're obviously going to special summon our slime. And if the slime gets popped, we will then search for the pink girl. So we are completely fine. All right. He's got the cluster. He's got a spell and trap card negate. We're going to wipe the entire field. What is best to go into? If we Nightingale, he activates, we detach, we have at least 2 materials, and then we could Zeus the field. If we Fucho on the activation of the cluster, we detach, we're unaffected, then we could overlay. They both work. Either or is fine. Now, what we cannot go into is the Downward Magician. This is no bueno. Downward, no good. We're in the battle phase, so we're a bit safer now. Nightingale. Downward would get popped right before we go into the Zeus. So now if he clusters, we could detach and we're perfectly fine. And he is probably feeling silly that he wasted his droplet onto a non-Zeus. Double swing, we take no damage because we didn't go into the Fucho. And now we can Zeus the field. Let's get Zeus in. If you want to play around a Veiler, use Zeus in the end phase, but I don't want to end my turn. So I got to go for the greedy Zeus. Otherwise, I would love to go into a Downward Magician, but it will very simply get clustered, as we've been saying. So let's now come forth, Zeus. End phase plays around Veiler, but I want to keep playing. Let's put these in case he has a call by the grave. So we want to consider if he calls by, we already have an Archie in the grave. We don't want him to finger our slime for no reason. Wipe the field. Cluster. This could be a bait to maybe he's feeling us out. He would not be doing that though. He's straight up a field wipe. Gotcha. So this is a huge benefit of playing Mimighoul, I'd say, is to go easy access into Zeus. Whether you go into the Nightingale or the Fucho to wipe the field. Perfect. Love it. Now, we can Mimighoul Maker. Don't tell me you have an Ash after all that. We want the Dragon. We already activated the effect of the Archfiend. We did not activate the effect of the Slime, but I want to special summon the Pink Girl from our hand, since we're going to summon the Mimighoul Master off of the effect of the Maker. All right. To your field, to our hand. We already used up our normal summon. We're going to special summon the Mimighoul Master here. And we got the room. We got the dungeon. Oh my Jesus. Let's activate the Master. Unfortunately, could not get the rusting. The slime already activated. The dragon will have for the follow-up play, I believe, will be the way. We can special summon the fairy to our side of the field. We do not have a way to trigger a monster effect, unfortunately. We grab the fairy, it's no good. We'll grab an archfiend from the graveyard. We special summon the fairy, I guess we Little Knight banish a card in grave. That's going to be the play. So let's summon the fairy to our side. Let's link it up. We're going to go into an anima. We don't want to be sucking up our own monster. Let's leave it there, of course. And the Mimighoul Maker will trigger the face down card being flipped as we Little Knight. And we're going to get rid of the Sulfador. He's got too many Sulfaneers in there already. So let's check this out. This requires him to draw Crystron. Banishing the cluster does nothing. Let's just get rid of the Sulfador. Sulfador be gone. And we could ash the effect of him trying to get another Sulfador. Let's set the Mimighoul room. We have Little Knight. The Typhon's not going to stop him from making a play. Let's end. So we're just going to use this as a normal summon follow-up. Mimighoul room will be able to set a dragon onto their side of the field. We actually don't want this hard once per turn activated at the wrong time. Or like that, I mean the original one. This is where on the resolution, we are going to let this happen. It's going to come on over. And now we're going to Mimighoul room. And the reason for this is because it tells me he wants to normal summon. So we're going to set the Archfiend from the deck onto their side of the field. And now they cannot normal summon whatever was in their hand. We're not going to change a monster's battle position, which would flip down our Mimighoul Dragon. Give Ash, or the effect of the Sulfaneer attempting to summon from the deck of Sulfador. And because they do like to add a bit, potentially, if you were to get a Thisfern and or a Smiger into the graveyard, we could then draw Lockbird, lock him up, and just like that, there you go. Mimighoul winning going first, Mimighoul going second, win with Zeus. Yeah, he took a Fool loss and or Max Seed challenge, and it did not work out too well for him, but as you can see, we very easily could go into Zeus. We didn't need this many cards in our hand, Zeus it up, and then set up afterward, and then win the duel.